Hey, what's up everyone? Sean here from Step by Step Excel Training, and in this video I want to show you how to apply subtotals to a range of data in Excel. Now in this example I have some employees listed with their sales regions and the individual sales numbers as it corresponds to those regions. But let's say that I wanted to group, or I wanted to subtotal all of Anthony's sales together, or all of Charles Claire's sales together. What I could do is use the subtotal option in Excel. So under the data tab, if you come over, you'll see this outline drop down, and then under there you'll see subtotal. Now in previous versions of Excel, when you go to the data tab, you may just see an option that says subtotal, which is what you would choose, but in my instance I have to first choose from the drop down. So when I click on subtotal, it's going to bring up this dialog box, okay? And it's going to say at each change in employee name. Now, if I look at this drop down, it's going to give me an option for each of the columns that I have, so employee name, region, and sales. I can use a function. So what function do I want to apply? Sum, count, average, max, min. For this example, I'll use sum. Add the subtotal to, it's already chosen the sales dollars here, okay? So what this first option means is it says that at each change in employee name. So that means that when Excel goes through, every time the employee name changes, it's going to subtotal and it's going to sum the total sales dollars for that employee. So let me show you what that means. If I click on OK, so I'm going to leave all these the same. If I click on OK, it's going to add in these extra lines here, an Anthony total, Charles total, Claire total, so on. And what it's done is it's added in this subtotal function, the subtotal formula, and it has grouped together and added, summed up the individual regional sales numbers to give me a total number for Anthony of 402,727, and so on all the way down to the bottom. And then at the very bottom there's also a grand total where it's going to take all of the individual subtotals from each employee and give us one grand total. Now, you know, this is just added extra lines. We could have just maybe highlighted those to give us the sum. But what you can do is you'll see that we now have these three numbers over here. If you click on the number 2 here, it's going to collapse all those individual lines, and it's going to give you just a nice clear summary of each individual employee's sales numbers. Okay, now if I wanted to open those back up again, I could choose the number 3, or you see these little plus signs to the left. If I just wanted to open up, let's say Emma, then I could just click the little plus sign there. Or if I wanted to just see Anthony, click the plus sign there. And this other number 1 up here is just going to give you the grand total of all sales. Okay, so it's going to take it to that even higher level number. And then so you can see how it's allowed me to group and subtotal based on individual employees to give me their total sales. Now if I wanted to remove this subtotal, I could just go back up here, choose subtotal, and then just choose remove all. So what I'll do is I'll just remove all. But let's say that I wanted to, instead of show employee names subtotal, if I wanted to show it subtotal at a regional level, okay? If I go data subtotal and I choose at each change in region instead of at each change in employee name and click OK, and then I'm just going to click this little 2, you can see here that it hasn't really grouped them all for North America. Okay, I've got a North America total here, a North America total here, and so on all the way down to the bottom. So that's not what I'm looking for. And the reason why it's doing that is because, as I mentioned, every time, I'll just remove that, every time the region changes, it's subtotaling it. So because I have it sorted by employee name here, the region is changing on every single line. So Excel is adding a subtotal to every single line. So if I wanted to subtotal by region instead of employee name, I would have to sort by region instead of employee name. So I'm just going to go sort, and I'm going to go sort by region like that, okay? And click OK. Now you can see that all the regions are grouped together because I've sorted by region instead of employee name. Now if I go to data subtotal like that and choose at each change in region, now the region isn't changing every line, it's only changing when we get to the end of it, and hit OK. Now press the little 2. Here is where you can now see that we now have the total sales for Asia. We have the total sales for Europe and North America. And again, if you wanted to open those back up, you could choose the 3, or if you wanted to just look at North America's total sales, broken down per employee, you can press that plus sign. And finally, if you want to just look at it at the highest level to show grand total of all sales in all regions for all employees, that is the option you would use. So, this can be really helpful if you don't want to lose all the individual information, like you might with a pivot table or something where you would have to dig into the pivot table. So this can be really helpful and quick to use when trying to group a set of data together in Excel. So, as always, hopefully this video has provided some value for you. And if it has, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel.